Hello and welcome into the Hill City here at Schellenberger Field. The fall 2020 campaign kicks off today with the Lynchburg Hornets taking the field against the DePauw Tigers in what should be a fantastic matchup between two squads today. I'm Joe Brennan, joined alongside me by my good friend and partner, Evan Gates. Evan, this should really be a great one and should give us a good look on this new Lynchburg Hornet team.
Well, listen, Joe, there are a lot of teams that have to come into the season with confidence, but I'll tell you one thing. This squad coming off an NCAA quarterfinal appearance once more last season, they feel so good. New look. Coach Jenny Relaford will start her opening year with Lynchburg, but I'll tell you what, they're ready to go. They're going to be firing from the start.
Relaford takes the helm, her first season as the head coach after almost a decade as the assistant here for Lynchburg. On the other side of things, you also have a DePauw team that's coming off of a semifinal appearance in their own conference tournament last season. Both of these squads should be improving and taking the extra step this season, but we get that first look at both of these teams that lost a good bit of talent last season and try and build off their returning players and also bring in some fresh faces, Evan.
And it's so tough at this stage of the season. Lynchburg lost 5 athletes that started every game for the squad last year. Obviously, Coach Enza Steele gone, so it will be a new look. It's going to be a very different edition of Lynchburg field hockey, but what you have to do in this opening game is build confidence, not just in the starters, but also the bench.
With that being said, we will step aside for the playing of our national anthem. Stick with us here on LHSN. Hello and welcome back into the broadcast booth here from Schellenberger Field, moments away from the opening of the 2024 fall field hockey season. With that, let's walk you through the starting lineups today. First for your Lynchburg Hornets, it'll be Kanye Mazizi, Danny Kuhn, Allie Freeman, Maddie Schuchter, Avery Watkins, Olivia Muir, Anna Dorestein, Olivia Van Meter, Madison Mark, and Shai Schoons in the cage. Now, Evan, when we look at this starting lineup today, who's one player you've got your eye on?
Well, there's ferocity up and down in the lineup, but you can't look past Kanye Mazizi. She has been fantastic. Her opening season, she was an All-American, one of 4 freshmen to do so across the nation. She's going to be looking to score early and often.
Now, on the other side of things, here for the DePauw Tigers, it'll be Ella Mickey, Alexandra May, Haley Nowak, Amy Applebaum, Ella Morris, Charlotte Hood, Anna Marks, Francis Seitz, Maggie Volpe, Tiala Ortega, Lily Harris, and Bella Lauber in between the pipes. Now, for the Tigers, Evan, same question for you. Who are you looking out for?
Got to look at the junior midfielder, Maggie Volpe, the junior from Lake Forest, Illinois, had a very strong season. Started 18 games last year. She's going to look to pick up right where she left off. And obviously, everybody on the field today just trying to build momentum in this opener.
Volpe, certainly the firepower and the centerpiece of this Tiger attack. A 2-time second-team all-conference selection. As now we're underway, the Tigers will kick things off, trying to work things into the Hornet zone. On the far side of the field, it's Anna Marks with possession. Here come the Hornets. A great attack and a tackle right there from Lynchburg. Now working towards the circle, but a great interception right there on the inside. That's Ella McDickey, who's a key defensive returner, has been a consistent player in this rotation since her freshman campaign.
It's all about consistency at this stage of the season too, right? Because you're relying on some of those returners. We know for Lynchburg, this is a squad that brings in a very talented class of freshmen from the attacking side. We might see them now.
Here come the Hornets. Great pass over to Mark. She'll send one to the inside. Centering feed just a tad too inside for Van Meter. Couldn't punch that one in. Nonetheless, Hornets retained possession. And a whistle will keep the ball on their side of the field.
Hornets are so good at capitalizing off defensive miscues as well. We saw last season averaging just under 10 penalty corners per game. We're going to see our first right now.
It should be fun to see on who Relaford decides to really lead the charge here in this attack. Obviously, you mentioned Mazizi is someone we've got to keep our eye on all day long. The feed to the top. Hornets. Top spin. A deflection right there from Mazizi. But a whistle right before it falls into the cage.
That's a strong look from Dorstein as well. She has so much power. She's going to look to wind up and fire a few times throughout this game. But as you said, some of those late deflections, you got to watch out for the Hornets when they're crowding the circle.
Some aggressive defense right here from the Hornets. They claim possession, shot on goal. Great deflection by Lauber. They'll take another look. Van Meter tried to deflect that one in, couldn't get the roll. Now the Tigers will try and head the other way.
Lauber certainly going to get her money's worth in this contest. A Lynchburg squad that averaged around 24 shots last year, and they are so offensive-minded. We talk about what changes during a coaching change. You have different styles, but Lynchburg looking to implement a new offense this year, and I think you're going to see a lot of inside-out passing, a lot of quick tempo.
Yeah, we actually heard from head coach Relaford in the preseason press conference about a week ago, and she was saying, you know, new players, new staff, new traditions. There's a lot of unknowns, but all that unknown really excites us. We're going to have a lot of fun with it this season. But it feels like from a tactical standpoint, they've really continued their identity, a very aggressive team here early on with 12 minutes to go in the first.
Well, and you lose a lot of your attack. You saw Marlu Vendrick's not on the squad this year, and so it's with number one right now, Kanye Mazizi. She's going to have to really be a spark plug for the rest of this offense because we know they're capable of scoring. The question is how many athletes can you get involved in that picture? 23 different goal scorers last year for Lynchburg.
And obviously this Hornet team, especially on that front line, has a lot of depth in, and we've talked a lot about Mazizi here early on, but you also got to look at Avery Watkins, somebody that's coming in to potentially a much bigger role this season. Alongside her, you also have Doris Stein, who made her first career start today, somebody that the coaching staff was really, really impressed with through her preseason and offseason, and expecting her to take a bigger role this year.
You wouldn't know it when you watch her play as well. First career start, but last season coming off the bench. An overtime goal versus Shenandoah and a crucial part of the season, a game winner versus York. So many powerful moments. It's Lynchburg on the doorstep.
Freeman puts one inside. A dish over to Van Meter, but she's stripped by Mickey. Mickey has really made life difficult for these Lynchburg forwards early on today.
Strong marking in this situation because Lynchburg is sending numbers forward, and their patient offense is going to pay off later in this game. You got to understand, if you stay on the doorstep long enough, the door will break down.
And when we got the chance to talk to head coach Shagum, I mean, she really described Mickey as the unsung hero of this team. She might not have the accolades to back it up, but really the heart and soul of this back line for the DePauw Tigers. Here's a great move by Balsamo. To the inside, ricocheted around. The keeper, Lauber, ends up with it. Hornets right back with possession, just continuing the attack.
Lauber got away with one there too, just a little too quick with that response, trying to kick it out. Had a little bit more time, but again, just a testament to Lynchburg's pressure. You got to think with Coach Relaford, what she's trying to accomplish early in this game is just show these players what they're capable of, build confidence, and get one in the cage.
Lauber has just been pelleted with shots here early on. 2 big saves thus far. Also, feet have been active, kicking the ball out of the circle. Great defensive play right there from Olivia Muir. Now she'll take it down this sideline. Great feed. But Short just can't hang on.
Another one of these freshman forwards. We talked about it earlier. Lynchburg has so many attack-minded players coming into the system. You can understand from a recruiting standpoint, that's what Coach Relaford was looking at and what they were trying to accomplish. Yes, you lost a few crucial pieces, but you're bringing in a new puzzle that is fresh and ready to go.
Great defense on the goal line by Aurora. But a whistle gives it right back to the Tigers.
Tigers have really struggled to open up this field early, really staying on this one side. Lynchburg trying to make it wider.
Here comes Kuhn. On the inside, batted around. Lauber once again rejects it. Hard shot to the middle. And the Tigers can exhale once again.
Joe, when you look at last season, you know, stats can be misleading. It's a new squad, but this is a DePauw squad that faced 136 shots. Lynchburg put up 586, and so you look at this fire squad early, can't be too surprised because the Hornets are always looking to knock on the door.
Freeman on the inside. Pass over to the top of the arc. Now it's Lamb with a dish down low. And once again, the Hornets just can't convert close to the pipes. And it feels like they've been dominating in terms of time of possession today. I don't think Shai has seen anything. I mean, I don't think that ball's gotten within 30 yards of her.
Well, you look at the area code, and it just seems to get a little bit bigger and bigger, and DePauw is still trying to search and find their way in. Understand this for Lynchburg, too, because this is a squad that is going to face a lot of different-looking teams this year. Your defense has to be locked and loaded, and yes, this game a little bit more offensive-minded, still looking to get goals in the cage, but this is a season that you're going to have to really start fine-tuning things quick, because when you look at the postseason, there's still a few strong opponents in the ODAC. We know Shenandoah is someone else who is certainly going to be trying to get Lynchburg's number.
And obviously a tough start to this season for the Tigers. You go all the way down 64, a 9-hour drive from Greencastle, Indiana, here to Lynchburg. After today's matchup, they'll be on the road once again and take on Shenandoah. Once again, a whistle on the inside. And Coach Shagum was really telling us that, you know, a win or a loss doesn't necessarily make this trip as important. You mainly just want to see your team improve from a tactical and cultural standpoint.
Well, you're playing two of the best squads on the East Coast, and you're getting them within 2 days, and so it's so important just to keep your composure.
Ball movement, certainly a big thing that the Tigers have stressed coming into this season. That's where they really want to see themselves improve, but right now they haven't had a whole lot of opportunity to do so. It's been all Hornets so far, with 5:30 and some change left to go here in the first. Lynchburg with their second penalty corner of the day. It'll be Allie Freeman. Freeman sends it up top. A tough handle right there from the Hornets, and Lauber with a phenomenal save. Her fourth of the day. A brick wall in between the pipes.
And for Lynchburg, once again, going to force another penalty corner. You understand, you like what you're seeing. You're getting open shots. I think you would rather see that than just have these passing lanes closed. As you see, another stellar opportunity. This one unable to get out. Lynchburg will go back to Freeman. They're targeting that middle of the field. Watch Dorstein try to cut inside.
Coming across. Dorstein can't get a shot off. Mark lets it fly. One more pass and another save. Lauren Mark on the doorstep, but Lauber says no.
Feels like you're one pass away at this stage of the game as well. There have been so many plays that are formulating. Lynchburg's doing everything right, but when you have that brick wall and goal, it is such a struggle to try and get that going. Lynchburg still with momentum. We'll see if the Tigers can bite into it.
They try and just shoot one downfield, get it on the opposite side of the timeline. Nonetheless, Lynchburg sends it quickly back the other way. Now the Tigers starting to gain a little bit of offensive momentum here, Evan.
Quick passing, you have to be comfortable. You don't want to make that turnover going backwards, but as we see here, Lynchburg can have numbers in this situation. If you're DePauw, it's just about slowing things down. Keep the pace, or excuse me, keep the pulse even keel.
Yeah, that was a great tackle from Jill Pleiter, the freshman out of Amsterdam. Right there, the Tigers return the favor. But Evan, how great is it just to be back here at Schellenberger? I mean, you got the fans out here today, great weather. You have the students on the track and on the balcony right above the field. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better setup.
Listen, it's been a long summer, and when you look at games on Schellenberger, they're not easy to come by until you reach that September month. Everybody on the road to start the season minus this field hockey squad, and so it's good just to have a game in this opening weekend. So many teams looking to really build on what was a strong fall campaign last year. We know this field hockey squad, they got NODAC championship, went to that NCAA quarterfinal, and you have to think the home success for these squads is just skyrocketing with one of the better atmospheres in Division III.
So many of these players, when they were asked during the beginning of the season, what are you most excited for this year? It was always Code Red or a home game. People just love the atmosphere here at Schellenberger, and you can't blame them. Volleyball also got started yesterday to really kick off the fall season. They picked up 2 wins on the road in the Cougar Classic down the road in Danville. Also cross country as well.
That's right.
Ran down over at Liberty.
Everybody getting ready, and this is that stage of the season, right? Especially when you look at a sport like cross country. The results might not be either where you want them to be, or you're not looking for a specific set of results. It's just about being in the right spot to pounce later in the season. We know the September, October edition of the Lynchburg field hockey team is going to look very different than what we might see in the postseason.
Well, to me, it doesn't matter if it's cross country or field hockey or whatever. I'd much rather be running in late October than I would be in late August.
Oh, that's right. And you take one step outside the press box, you're going to understand pretty quickly. Weather is not apologizing.
Now here come the Tigers. Mickey sandwiched between 2 Hornets, just has to get rid of it. And a turnover right there.
I like that defensive pressure from Lynchburg because they're really just protecting their goalkeeper. You want to be on the spot where obviously you can put numbers on those offensive attackers up front because they have really struggled to connect the dots with the passes. Not a lot of isolation.
Deep pass downfield. A difficult ride right there from Callie Short, just disrupting this clear. And the Hornets, just like that, take over. Here comes Lamb. Crosses it to the inside, but picked up by Nowak. Lynchburg once again. A whistle on the interior. 45 seconds to go here in the first, still scoreless.
Joe, we saw that play pretty much constructed all the way through from Mallory Lamb. You understand that there are a lot of players on this team who are veterans who are coming back. She was a third-team All-ODAC selection in 2022, and that's somebody you want to see just helping the freshmen get in the right spots. You want to make their jobs as easy as possible as attackers, and someone like Lamb or Mazizi, if they can just construct the play, the rest will follow.
Kanye brings it to the inside, but a high stick right there from short will most likely end things here in the first. The horn blows, and we're knotted up at 0 apiece. Headed to the second. Evan, any big takeaways so far today?
Well, Lynchburg has had possession the entire way. It feels like DePauw. A few plays here and there, but the goals will come. You like the Hornets offense, and great work in the cage for the Tigers, but obviously if Lynchburg keeps knocking, you have to think they're going to walk through.
0-0 our score, 2 minutes till we head to this second. Stick with us here on LHSN.
Celebrate the soggy shoes and the slow starts. Celebrate the lessons learned along the way. These are the wins. Not the shiny, nail-biting kind. These are the last a lifetime kind.
Being a part of the different activities and organizations that I've been a part of, I'm actually able to see myself where I'm like, hey, I actually can make a change. I'm one person that can make a difference.
Division III has helped me to develop teamwork skills, critical thinking skills, time management skills.
It's not just about basketball, or it's not just about school, it's about developing yourself as a person altogether.
Football has taught me a lot throughout my life. It's definitely had a huge imprint on who I am as a person. Competing at a Division III level created that opportunity for me to go to college. Not only was I the first one in my family to graduate,
And we welcome you back into Schellenberger Field. DePauw and Lynchburg knotted up at 0 apiece here as we start off this second. Joe Brennan alongside Evan Gates. Having a strong showing from both of these squads thus far, and we talked about it in the open of this telecast. Both these teams really trying to build off their success from last season.
Well, there's so much to be proud of, I think, from both coaching staffs. We know Coach Relaford, yes, new head coach, but she has been on staff with Lynchburg since 2015. This was a squad for the Hornets that had 21 wins, the most since 2001. We mentioned that Elite Eight appearance, and so I think what will be interesting later in the season is just to see how that confidence translates.
Great movement on the inside from Lynchburg, but even better defense there from the Tigers on the interior. A 2-on-1 fast break right there for the Hornets, led by Pleiter, where they couldn't convert.
Tell you what, Lynchburg doesn't let you get your thoughts in very much because they are constantly shooting, trying to get back into action, and early in the second quarter, you can tell what the game plan is. This is a squad that just conceded 1 goal in second quarters last year, and so you wonder how much are they going to try to get back as we head into halftime.
Here comes Madison Mark, another whistle. Is that going to be a penalty corner? Yes, it will. Great job from Mark to draw the contact right there.
Joe, this is a situation where we have seen Lynchburg have an open shot pretty much every single penalty corner. Can they get that extra pass involved? We see 3 in front in the middle of the field. We'll see if they go back to Dorstein or switch this up.
They go up top to Kuhn. Kuhn with a big-time shot. Ricochets around. Another big save from Lawber. And the Tigers sideline absolutely loving it.
DePauw has been playing some very stellar defense despite what you might see on the stat sheet. I mean, there's still a 0 in the goal column, so you have to appreciate that. But it is so strong, this chemistry, the connection that we're seeing from this defense, and ultimately just forcing Lynchburg outside. That's got to be part of the game plan.
Now here the Tigers will try and build it from the back. A nice touch pass right there. Anna Marks advancing it over to Appleby. Now here comes Lynchburg once again. It's Pleiter. And another whistle. This one called on Charlotte Hood, the junior out of Fallston, Maryland.
That was one of the better passes that you're going to see all game, and Pleiter was doing just enough to be in the right spot at the right time. That's what the Hornets are trying to preach. It's not necessarily getting those shots or even the passes, but if you open this field up, you're going to have so many opportunities, and that is how you're shooting 24 times a game like last season.
They'll go up to Mark up top. Another save from Lawber. Have yourself a day. 8 saves between the pipes here for the Tigers.
And that's just in the first 18 minutes of this contest. What DePauw has done well is obviously forcing Lynchburg shots outside, and it really has been more of a predictable approach from the Hornets. They're shooting, and they're just not getting those late deflections. No tic-tac-toe plays thus far, but maybe something in the cards for Lynchburg later in this first half.
Taken away from Lamb. Tries to advance it, but a whistle gives it right back to the Tigers. And they'll return the favor. Here comes Sar Prince. Another penalty on the Hornets.
Lots of different lineups so far. That's traditional for an early season game. You got to figure out what exactly is it going to look like later in the season. We know the Hornets are very comfortable with playing lots of people on the roster.
Playing tight against the sideline. And a whistle there on Dorstein. Now here comes Ella Mickey. Great pass over to Ortega. Working towards the middle of the field. A tackle by Kuhn. Kuhn now working down the right side. Doesn't have numbers, but she's got the wheels. Inside, across the crease. And another whistle on Lynchburg.
That was a good thought from Kuhn that you really understand the confidence that she has built throughout this offseason. One of the players who is coming back, and Coach Relaford has mentioned, she is going to be a very important piece to success this season. Isolation offense, you can sometimes take it all the way, but Hornets unable to capitalize on that opportunity.
Charlotte Hood will play it back to Mickey. She'll kick it across. The Tigers just looking for any breathing room, but Lynchburg collapsing wherever they are. Mickey trying to clear it.
Just seems like DePauw's just looking for a whistle this time. Dorstein lined one up.
Dorstein with an absolute laser to the inside. But bodies in front of it. gave it right back to DePauw.
Joe, when we look at last season in this Lynchburg field hockey squad, 18 games in which they led at the end of the first half. The numbers won't always tell the full story, but it just shows how difficult this team is to get past once they get that first one on the scoreboard. Still searching for it now, but the pressure, you can just tell, is continuing to mount. Might need very important speech at halftime if DePauw wants to get momentum.
That was great stick work right there from the sophomore forward in Dorestein. Now Mazizi puts one down low for the freshman out of England. Lynchburg can't do anything with it on the cross. And how about the international representation on this Hornet team? You bring in 7 freshmen this year, 2 more abroad faces.
Well, and it's just a testament, obviously, to how strong of a global game field hockey has become. It is constantly getting everyone involved, but look no further than Coach Relaford on the squad. Played in Scotland, and obviously that has to impact some of the recruiting. The talent has just continued to be very impressive.
And the assistant coach, Noah, as well.
That's right.
Also some abroad representation.
Such a beautiful game when you understand how much of an impact it has, obviously, across the pond, but America just continuing to grow it as well. We know not every D3 school will have a field hockey program, but you're seeing more and more teams get involved, and obviously a team like Lynchburg, who was successful, will certainly make that impact even greater.
Another penalty corner here for the Hornets. Shot just gets a little bit of topspin on it. Ricochet down, and that one falls. It looked like Maddie Schuchter's the one that got the last piece of it. The final nail in the coffin, and the Hornets take a 1-0 advantage.
They've been swarming for a long time. Now you got the sting. Lynchburg has been flirting with that first goal for a very long time, and a play that's almost identical to something we saw earlier in this game. It's that late deflection. Dorstein sets it up just by putting the pass in the right spot, and the Hornets able to capitalize.
It felt like it was only a matter of time until the Hornets would put one up on the scoreboard after constantly pressing this team all day long. And Lawber, 8 saves, but finally that's one through.
Can't blame the goalkeeper, right? It's been a long game so far, and it feels like it's been even longer for the Tigers, just constantly playing defense. But Lawber has been very impressive. A lot of mobility in the cage just to keep this one out, and Lynchburg obviously converts on an opportunity where you can't do much about that misdirection. Also have to think with these penalty corners, Joe, we talked about the fact that Lynchburg averaged 9.5 per game last season, and that shows that you got to have the offense in the right spots, because there's so much to be said for the energy, the tempo of this team. You've seen it all game long, just constantly forcing their way forward.
And they've had great ball movement all day long. That's one thing that's really separated this Hornet squad today and allowed them to control possession in so much of this ball game. Right here, it's Nowak.
Haven't talked about the Tigers' offense much yet, but you mentioned Nowak. Their 2 top goal scorers back for the season. There's a little bit of experience up front, and you have to imagine that when you look in conference play in North Coast, what they're trying to accomplish this season, they're going to have to ride those 2 pretty long ways, because you understand there are some very strong opponents in that conference.
And you also got to take a look at Ortega and Harris, the 2 leading distributors of this team. Both players last year finished tied for first with 5 assists on the team. You also have Harris, who was formerly an all-conference first-team selection. So these girls can certainly swing the rock and help this offense get into a rhythm. But today they've just been harassed by the Lynchburg defense.
Well, and you made a good point, too. When you get passers back and you also have those goal scorers, you have the model. You're just trying to fine-tune at that point. Nothing to reconstruct. You know, Lynchburg is in a similar spot despite losing a lot of offense, but certainly a few question marks they'll have to answer early.
Nonetheless, this game is far from over. While Lynchburg has really controlled possession all day long, if you're DePauw, it's still a 1-0 ball game. You're very much so alive in this contest, and all it takes is just one tide to turn. You just need that little snowball to turn into an avalanche, and you can really take control of this game.
That's exactly right, and it's going to have to start in some of these counter opportunities because Lynchburg has just been pressing forward so much. If you make those passes, you might have a chance.
Here's a chance for Lynchburg on the inside. A defensive save right there from Mickey. That one looked like it was inches away from crossing in.
I tell you, Joe, you're flirting with fire at that point because the way that it looked like it came off the stick, I thought it was in the cage.
It looked like it bounced off the inside post of the cage.
Wow.
Nonetheless, we'll continue to play on.
Catch your breath.
Nikki will be credited with the defensive save. It looked like she was just trying to clear that one out of there, and it bounced back out. Oh, no, that's clean. That was a great defensive play right there.
DePauw's got to be counting his lucky stars after that one, but Lynchburg not done yet.
Tough shot right to the keeper. Mark denied. Lauber, her 10th save of the afternoon.
She has been sensational so far, and you really look at your senior goalkeeping staff and you know what you want to expect. You're hoping they come out that first game and they're already fine-tuned. And tell you one thing, this DePauw squad certainly looking polished defensively.
Great idea on the interior right there from Lamb. Laid down her stick, tried to pop one up towards the top crossbar. But a glove right there from Lauber punches it away.
Tigers having some strong moves down the side. It's just been a question of can they get to midfield, keep those passes connected.
A nice feed to the inside right there, but looks like a little bit of miscommunication between two Hornets.
When transition opportunities have really been a struggle for the Hornets so far. We've seen a few strong passes getting into isolation, but it's obviously got to be a little bit cleaner, a little bit quicker, something we might see as the season progresses.
Prince takes it away. Mazizi shielding the defender with her back. Now poked away. A great tackle, but a whistle. Here come the Hornets. And they'll give it right back.
So far, it's just been a game of show and tell. They're getting into the room. They're showing everybody a little bit of what they can do offensively, but then it's right out. Lynchburg just trying to really extend these offensive possessions, and we're seeing that they are getting the ball back quickly. But the passing, something that will come with time. That was a characteristic of last year's squad. You look at some of the assist numbers and what they did, and assists in every game but one.
Whistle blown right there on Balsamo.
Under 2 minutes in this first half, and so if you're the Tigers, it's just about obviously keeping a 2 off that scoreboard, but also maybe gathering a little bit of momentum, a little pep in your step heading into the huddle.
Allie Freeman will take it right here. Sends it to the inside, but immediately sent back from Applebaum. ZZ with a great feed. Good ball movement right here from the Hornets. Officials pointing in different directions. Our umpire on the far side of the field will definitively give it to the Hornets. It'll be another penalty corner. their 5th of the afternoon. A great opportunity here with 46 ticks left to go.
It's been so calculated from the Hornets, but they're doing it with style. They have different options. That pass likely going to the middle. We'll just see if there's another late deflection or if they're looking to lace one up.
They'll hit it to the top. Balsamo. Looks like she just missed contact right there.
It's a great defensive possession from DePauw as well. You shut down the play before it can really start. A lot of the times throughout this game, it hasn't even been a big turnover or miscue from Lynchburg. It's just been forcing a little bit too much contact, getting the referees involved.
Well, that will do it here in the first half between these two squads. Lynchburg gets on the board here in the second. They take a 1-0 lead into the break. But Evan, DePauw still very much in this contest.
Well, you like it being a one-score game, and you understand that to play that defensively in the first half, not really having many offensive opportunities, there are going to be chances to get back in this game. It's been a great game so far from Lauber and goal, so the Tigers not too far away, but they do have to get in the zip code, start finding some of those opportunities and making the passes that matter in that second half.
Lauber has certainly kept them in this contest. She's been a brick wall between the pipes here for the Tigers, along with some great defensive play down low from Mickey, but it's the offense of this DePauw Tigers team that really needs to find that rhythm as we head into the second. Nonetheless, that will do it for the first half. Stick with us. Second half coming up momentarily here on LHSN.
College has given me the flexibility to pursue my passions and my interests, and I've recreated my identity for myself aside from just being an athlete.
My greatest personal discovery has been that I am capable of doing things that I didn't know I was capable of doing.
To be able to study what I wanted to and continue to play the sport I love, all of those things came together very nicely in one package in Division III.
Want to have some outdoor adventures while getting a degree at the same time? At the University of Lynchburg, we have an on-campus zip line and ropes course. Plus, we offer adventure trips that cost less than a cup of coffee. And did I mention our beautiful scenery? We're a university for students looking for something more than just books. Welcome to your new adventure experience.
I wanted to be a physical therapist probably starting about halfway through college. I love the concept that exercise is medicine. You know, we're starting to discover that exercise really can remedy many of the things that we thought that only surgery or only drugs could remedy in the past. When the student comes here, it's because we believe in them, it's because we want them here, it's because we believe they'll be successful. The faculty here are devoted to their development, not only academically but also professionally. We're not so inundated with things that we don't have time to make students one of our highest priorities. We have your back. We're gonna help you through that. If you're willing to work, then we're willing to put the work into it and the effort to help you succeed.
I was really attracted to Lynchburg primarily because my dad went here. He is an alum, so I kind of have that close tie of being interested in this school. And the school had what I wanted to study. I knew I wanted to help people in the area of health and wellness, so the health promotion program was definitely a program that drew me in, and from day one I've been in love with it, and I wouldn't have chosen any different. I have never had better professors or teachers in my life, and I think here at the University of Lynchburg, the professors definitely care about their students, especially in the health promotion department. These professors want you to be educated, want you to have the experience, and just want you to feel confident going into your career path following your collegiate education. You just feel like you're cared for here and that you matter, and that no matter what, at the end of the day, you're going to be successful, and the people here really want to be here, and everyone has a purpose, and it's just a great environment to be in.
Get your career in the game by enrolling in the University of Lynchburg MBA program with an emphasis in sport management. This program opens the doors to new possibilities for a variety of careers, from being an athletic director or working in athletic administration to working for professional organizations, your favorite team, to running a local parks and rec department. And employers are increasingly requesting and preferring individuals who have postgraduate education, specifically looking for an MBA. And so the University of Lynchburg Sport Management concentration in the MBA program sets you up for success, and it sets you apart from the many other people looking for jobs in the industry. Learn from winners. Here you will learn from professors and mentors who have spent their careers doing exactly what you want to do. Increase your marketability in an $83 billion industry. If you have a 3.0 GPA, the GMAT is waived. There's no application fee, admissions occurs on a rolling basis, and our online program is ideal for working adults. When you enroll in this program, you enroll in the opportunity to learn from the best of the best. Your professors have a wealth of experience working in the sport industry that they share with you in the classroom setting. Get in the game by getting your MBA with a sport management concentration at the University of Lynchburg. Just you now, Hollywood, here I come. Hey, I meant, yeah.
The real Lindsay Piper's here.
Autographs there later.
My name is Davion Washington Jr. I have the honor of serving as the student body president. I have 5 little siblings. I'm the oldest of 6 siblings, and they look up to me. I'm setting the tone. I get to develop myself, make myself a better individual, but also I'm helping future generations, not even my family, but just future generations in general. I found my passion here. I found, the love for what I want to do. I just really had an amazing time here. And it's changed, my outlook on life. You don't have to be famous to change lives. You don't have to be on the big screen or whatever. I change lives now, and I hope to continue to do that. Just same way that the University of Lynchburg has changed my life for the better.
All right, my name is Joshua Carr. I am a senior. I am a theater major as well as a history minor. I love the arts. I love acting. I love entertaining. I live in 5th Street, the historic black neighborhood. The money came in, transfer, scholarship, all that. I appreciate that greatly. I pay my own tuition. I ain't got no help. I pay everything myself. I mean, I'm smart too. So they gave it like, you smart, here. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate that though. You come here to do a job. I came here to do a job. A student's job is to get that degree and make something of ourselves. We got everything for you. We got you a 24-hour library. You got these sorority fraternities. We got the shoot for you. Is you gonna put it on? That's how University of Lynchburg is. Success is in the details. You know what I'm saying? It's like you learn it, know better, do better. What I love is they allow us to speak. They want our voices to be heard. They want us to talk. They want us to bring up the discomfort. They respect our point of views. They respect Black Lives Matter. They respect the LGBT community. They respect those, you know what I'm saying? That's what I love about my school. They respect that, and they allow us to to showcase and voice our expressions. I love the diversity here. I love the different interests of people here. I can act, dance, sing, box, play football. I can do it all. You know what I'm saying? I can teach somebody that doesn't know what I know, and that person can teach me something that I don't know that they know. That's what you get here. You get diversity. You get different people with different knowledge coming together, sharing information and helping each other out. That's what I love. That's why I say people. I love the people here. College, think about it. If it's not for you, fall back. If it's for you, go further with it. And University of Lynchburg will be that choice. It's gonna be right there. They're gonna make the shoe. They're gonna do what it do. It's up for you to put that shoe on. So that's what I say.
Welcome to the Campus Recreational Department at the University of Lynchburg. We believe in a student-centered approach to recreation, making sure that all students have fun and engaging activities that promotes wellness, personal growth, and community building.
Our team works to provide a variety of recreation opportunities for all our undergrad and graduate students.
Let's take a look at the different areas of Campus Rec.
Campus Recreation covers all outdoor recreation. Our team offers dozens of trips per semester, maintains recreation facilities on campus, and offers outdoor certificates and leadership training.
Intramurals is open to all students who wants to play on a team. We have men's, women's, and co-ed leagues for.
Hello and welcome back into Schellenberger Field. The second half of action here between the Lynchburg Hornets and the DePauw Tigers. First half really controlled by Lynchburg, but DePauw very much so still in this ball game. They just got to find a way to hang on to possession.
Well, tell you what, that's really the big key. It's the one that's going to matter, and they're starting off on the right foot. Just got to keep on trudging forward, but you understand for Lynchburg, 12 shots, 9 of them on goal, so 75%. They're going to keep on going and right on pace for that 24 average from last season.
Here come the Hornets on the inside. Shot batted around, and a whistle gives it right back to the Tigers.
Looked like Sar Prinz was right there ready to strike. That whistle obviously ends the play, but if you're Lynchburg, you're seeing that side-to-side passing and just trying to get one in the circle.
It was Aurora Balsamo who was actually credited with that first goal today. And she's someone that, coming into the season, the coaches really commended her, saying she had one of the hardest hitting shots on the team and someone that's also great at getting around defenders using that speed.
She certainly came around late in the season last year as well. 3 goals and 18 appearances. And, you know, you talk about somebody who can get around those defenders who's going to cause trouble every time that she is in possession.
And someone else on this attacking line for the Hornets who we haven't mentioned a whole lot today, but very similar to Aurora, is Olivia Van Meter. I mean, she's someone that comes off a 2023 third team all ODAC kind of year. She was tied for 6th in the conference for goals with only 11 games. Had 9 goals. 2 goals in 3 games. She really broke through. Someone that we mentioned Aurora, but Van Meter also really commended for her speed and her athleticism, something that really, really adds to her gameplay.
Showcases the depth as well, right? Because we talk about how many of these Lynchburg players who are going to get active, they're ready to go in. This offense has just been impressive because there are a lot of goal scorers, which is what you need to win games. You do need to get goals in the cage, but it goes back to getting everybody ready early in the season. How many players in this lineup can you get fine-tuned and ready to go?
And we talked about the feeling here today at Schellenberger, the atmosphere here in the stadium. You can see that student section just continuing to grow, people bringing chairs in.
Listen, it's a cloudy sky. It's kind of a humid day, probably not the best perfect setting, but it doesn't matter because I'll tell you what, every time that the Lynchburg team is on Schellenberger, it just feels like it ignites this whole campus. This is what it's all about, especially early in the summer. You're getting your training ready. This is the moment you've been waiting for.
I'll tell you, man, it feels like a party.
That's right.
It's just BYOC. You got to bring your own chair. Other than that,
See, that's the thing, too, because you're going to see throughout the year, we need to start keeping a tally of this. How many different chairs do we see on the track? You'll see the futons come out late in the year. You get a Code Red matchup. You'll have blankets out. It doesn't matter as long as
couches onto the track.
Anything you want. If you can get out onto this track and you have eyes on the field, that's all that matters. Sure, Brennan.
I'm surprised the track and field coaches are okay with couches being laid down.
As long as people are there for the track Code Red. That's all you need.
Obviously, you're going to have to find a different place to sit for those.
You might be on the field for that one. The hurdles race will be a little bit different if we keep the futons on the track.
Well, the Tigers trying to clear, but Dorestein has other plans. A great tackle, now advancing downfield. Tipped away. Well, it looks like she might have just flat out lost possession of it.
Well, a lot of Dorestein shots. We saw it earlier. It's just been a little off the mark. That's how that deflection originally occurred with Balsamo on the other end.
That was a penalty corner that had a lot of topspin on it. Had a tough bounce, ended up high in the sky, and almost a spike with the stick to put that one down.
So much easier said than done, and we see a lot of Lynchburg recipients on the other end almost snuck in. Tell you what, though, what Lynchburg has been able to accomplish with those set pieces is so impressive. I think Coach Relaford's going to take a page out of Coach Steele's book from what she was able to accomplish, because these looks are what Lynchburg certainly used to their advantage last year.
A great tackle from Mickey, but a collision right there from a Tiger. Gives it right back to the Hornets. And Dickey, yet another great tackle.
Feels like DePauw has done a better job to start this second half of quelling the storm early, because Lynchburg, despite that opening pass that got close to the circle, has really not been able to find any inside looks. It's been longer shots and really just some disjointed possessions.
In your mind, if you're Coach Agam for the DePauw Tigers, what's your message to this team in the locker room before coming out for the second half?
Obviously, you got to keep your chin up, but it's just about that next play mentality, because so many of these players, especially on the attacking side, maybe haven't seen it a lot today. You've just been waiting around for that moment. You have to take advantage of it when you get it, because you don't know how many more you're going to get against Lynchburg's very strong attack today.
Here comes Mark down the low sideline. Up top, a great shot and just barely too far outside.
That's as good as it's going to get for the Hornets, and another spark plug type of play. You see those deflections, right spot, right time.
The freshman Schuchter really involved in the offense today for the Hornets. Had a great look right there. But you got to credit Lauber just for not letting anything past her today, so you got to try and find creative ways to get around her. She'll let that one roll in. Shot taken outside the arc, so it won't count.
It really feels like one of the only times that you've seen her do it, because it's been so good, as you mentioned, just lockdown stuff, and DePauw knows that it's not just her. This defense has done a really strong job of marking early, keeping Lynchburg outside. But the problem has just been getting these passes, as we see here, to connect with anybody. Just feels like the swarm has continued for the Hornets.
And Evan, you mentioned this team finding their rhythm. And when I say this team, I'm talking about the DePauw Tigers. That's something we really saw last year with DePauw, and their schedule really reflected it. They got off to a shaky start. They opened this season with a blowout loss against Salisbury, an 8-0 defeat. Following that, the next 3 games dropped 2 more, picked up 1 victory in double overtime And after starting this season off 1-3, you'd think maybe the season isn't headed in the direction you'd like it to with a first-year head coach, but they really found their groove in the middle of that season, rattled off 8 games in a row. That was a big win streak for the Tigers. That eventually would be snapped by Denison. They lost that ball game in an 0-2 affair, and eventually, when we talk about their conference tournament, faced Denison once again, got a chance for revenge, but once again fell 0-2 to Denison, ending their season. Nonetheless, these girls, when they find that rhythm, especially on the offensive side of things, they can be a very, very dangerous team.
Well, we know the North Coast as well is still going to be competitive. You got Denison and Ohio Wesleyan, 2 squads that are always going to be in the mix. But what you really have to pay attention to, as you said, is this is a tough road trip to start the season. Lynchburg and Shenandoah, 2 of the best in the ODAC. And so can you just continue building confidence regardless of what the scoreline says? You have a chance to sneak back into this one today. And just a lot of field hockey to be played.
Kicked away right there from Lauber. And it's interesting, the conference deemed the North Coast, but, you know, when I think of North Coast, I'm thinking of Maine, Connecticut,
Canada,
New Hampshire. It's a lot of
just
Midwest.
about. That's right. D3 has so many conferences, too, that you would think that the North Coast would be strictly up on the North Coast, but we'll let the NCAA decide that one.
Well, maybe it's the coast of the Great Lakes.
That's right.
You got that region right there.
See, and maybe we're just a little bit spoiled in the ODAC, the Old Dominion Athletic Conference, because there are, I think, 12 or 13 schools in Virginia and then just Guilford down south in North Carolina. So it stays true to its name, but some of these other conferences you see across the country, not so much.
One thing that is very surprising about this DePauw team, you have nobody in-state, all out-of-state players for the Tigers. Granted, DePauw and Greencastle kind of right on the border of Indiana and Illinois, so you do have a lot of Illinois talent, especially from that Chicagoland area and those suburbs.
Think about the recruiting, though. They have Colorado represented, Wisconsin. You're going all around. We know Lynchburg has done it, too. We mentioned some of the Europeans competing for this squad, and so it is a game that really allows you to extend that recruiting network, find talent from all over.
And obviously with an international player like Kanye, someone that is represented and will continue to represent her home country in Zimbabwe for their national field hockey team. As we'll see a penalty corner right here from Freeman. Up top to Mazizi. She can't get the handle. They'll swing it over to Prinz. That one's just a tad too wide. Now trapped in the corner. She'll go between her legs. And a scrum for it down low. And a whistle gives it right back to the Tigers.
Those are the plays that need to change if you're Lynchburg offensively, because you understand you cannot have many unforced errors from a penalty corner. You have everything set up. You got to make those passes, and when they fall through, obviously that makes things a little bit more difficult, but another opportunity here.
Great opportunity right there from Dorestein, poked away. Another penalty corner. When we go back to talking about Mazizi and her recruiting process of coming to Lynchburg, she's someone that had Division I offers when she was heading into college, and the main thing that drew her here to Lynchburg wasn't necessarily the coaching staff of the field hockey team, but rather the soccer team. The graduate assistant for the soccer team, also from Zimbabwe, and actually a family friend of Mazizi, and gave her the pitch to come to Lynchburg, and she's loved every moment of it since arriving. Now here's Mazizi on the inside. She'll let one fly, pops it up. And a whistle gives it right back to DePauw.
She is so sneaky on offense because you understand that some of these plays you couldn't say her name for 40 or 50 minutes, and then she really asserts her presence, finds her spot on the field. And as you mentioned, it's just such a cool story being able to come to Lynchburg. That's what this campus is all about. When you see some of the initiatives, it's about community. It's about getting everybody involved, being on one page. You look at these Code Red contests where every sports team is in attendance. I think that is the epitome of what Lynchburg is trying to be about.
It's certainly got to be a big culture shift, though, coming from either the Netherlands or Zimbabwe or England here to Lynchburg. Much more of a change than going from Chicago, Illinois to Greencastle, Indiana.
Well, Joe, I went an hour down the road to come to Lynchburg, and I feel like that already was enough of a change. And so more power to the people who are coming to compete at Lynchburg, but we are happy to have them.
And also when you look at just the gameplay and game styles that differ from the international game to the game here at Lynchburg, obviously one thing that stands out is the difference in turf, going from AstroTurf to this traditional style of turf. The international players really love when they get that opportunity. They go up north. York is an example of a school that has that AstroTurf where the game can move a lot faster and allows for a quicker game style.
And it helps when you have somebody like Mazizi on this roster because she's familiar with it and she is one of your top attackers. So it's certainly going to be a big advantage for her. But a lot of games last season that were played on Astro for Lynchburg, and they fared relatively well in those situations. Games at Liberty and Sweetbriar, you take those chances and run with it because this is, again, a game that can be decided in many different ways.
And also, what a difference in home field advantage for teams like Lynchburg and Sweetbriar that play on completely different surfaces.
That's right. And it's all about adapting throughout the season. You do practice on the field every single day, and so you know it is going to be different for teams who come into town and have played on a different surface. I think that these two teams are familiar with the turf.
Great chance to attack right here for the Tigers. Under 30 seconds left to be played in the third. Poked away by the Hornets. And they'll just continue to work it downfield. Another whistle.
Clock winding down, got to move quickly.
6 seconds left. And DePauw won't let him get a shot off. We stay knotted at a 1-0 game. The only goal coming about halfway through that second period. Olsamo, the only one today able to find the back of the cage. You got to credit Lawber once again just for what she's been able to do.
So much energy back and forth. This one felt a little more even in the third quarter, and you understand for DePauw, that's got to be a big move forward, an exclamation mark maybe going into this fourth quarter because you need that goal, you need it soon.
Final quarter of play coming up here from Schellenberger Field. Lynchburg leads 1-0.
Esport we offer.
Those looking for next level competition can join club sports. These are student-led organizations with the support of campus recreation. You can join one of our established club sports or you can start your own with our support.
Campus recreation offers an excellent amount of opportunities to stay active, make new friends, and develop new skills. We hope to see you soon.
Fourth quarter of action here from Schellenberger Field. The Lynchburg Hornets lead the DePauw Tigers 1-0. Joe Brennan alongside Evan Gates. It's been a fun one so far today. It's really been controlled by the Hornets all day long. Had a lot of opportunities inside the arc, just only able to convert on one penalty corner so far today.
I think it's a combination of good defense and poor offense. You can't really fault Lynchburg very much because they've had so much possession. They've had good passing, but it's going to be the operation in the circle, close to the goalkeeper. Can you make those last-second passes? I think for the Hornets, that's what's going to make it different from being a good team and a great team this year, because I'll tell you one thing, there are a lot of teams that will capitalize in those situations if you're not careful.
Good defense certainly on both ends, but this Tiger offense really, really struggling today. Shy has not seen a single shot thus far today.
One thing that's going to be interesting with Lynchburg, too, because there are a few games on the schedule where I think you have the potential to allow your offense to really roam freely, to go up and have a day. Can this goalkeeping staff for Lynchburg just continue to get fine-tuned? Because we know between Schoons and Samir Garavi, they're going to face a lot of shots later in the season.
Great ball movement here from the Hornets, working in transition. Batted around, another save right there from Lauber. That was good defense from Elo Morris, the junior out of New Albany, Ohio. Somebody that plays a big role in this Tiger back line.
For Jill Plyder, it was everything but in that situation. She did everything right. Sometimes it takes a little bit of patience, but again, Hornets just unable to open the door. They are a goal up, and so in this fourth quarter, it's all about possession, all about just keeping control. But I think if you're Coach Relaford, you want to see a few more numbers up on the board just to start building confidence, have the rest of the squad buying in early.
Yeah, I don't think the Hornets want to park the bus by any means. They're still looking to attack in every way they can. Mizizi lets one by her. A great opportunity once again, just struggling to convert on the interior. Here comes Prinz. Harassed by Tiger defenders. And it'll be another penalty corner.
Good things happen when you move to the middle of the field, and Prinz does a great job of redirecting. You saw a few different lanes. She's just going to take it right down Main Street and try to create an opportunity. And now an even better opportunity for Lynchburg. Another penalty corner, and scored on one in that second quarter.
Looks like this will be Prinz taking it here for the Hornets down low. Prinz feeds up top. It's the freshman Callie short, and another big save right there from Lauber. Right off the knee pad. Now here come the Hornets. The Tigers working downfield. Volpe on the sideline. Crosses it to the inside. Shy lets it roll by and out of play.
Tell you one thing, transition, it can happen quickly. They almost had numbers, and then Applebaum just pulls it out, takes a second to really recollect. And I think that Lynchburg is pretty fortunate with that opportunity because defense could reset. Tigers, when this game has been slowed down, have really struggled, and I think that's where Lynchburg is getting a lot of these looks. When they're playing at their tempo, defense has just been so forceful.
That was a beautiful pass from Freeman down the sideline. Hornets just couldn't corral it. Here come Lynchburg. Pleiter tries to dish it off. And Callie short just can't find it. Tried to wrap it around. Lost possession. And another missed opportunity.
Plyder is doing well of really controlling this offense. And you talk about trying to get some of these freshmen ready to go. Yeah, she might be a little upset that that opportunity was missed, but you're seeing some good action from the newcomers, and it just starts with making those plays top to bottom. Can you set the table for the rest of this offense?
Ten minutes and some change left to go.
You know, Joe, I think about this stage of the season, and it's so difficult because you want to get fixated on one or two games. We talked a little bit about DePauw's schedule, but Lynchburg certainly is to take some positives as this one rolls on through just from the fact of how they have felt throughout this game. Sometimes the numbers won't tell the full story, and I think the Hornets, yeah, they will have to certainly work on a few things, iron out a few kinks, but they would love to get another goal just to have a better narrative coming out of this one. DePauw looking to equalize and tie it up.
Today's also been a great opportunity to see the depth of this Lynchburg team. They've gone deep into that bench. And the team that only has 3 seniors, along with 8 sophomores and 7 freshmen, really heavier on the underclassmen side of things. It's good to get them some more experience under their belt as you start up here in the non-conference side of things.
Can look at it from both angles as well. You want to have experience, but you also know your underclassmen are the direction of the program, and with the recruiting class that has come in, an attack-minded group, you just have to imagine that in a few years, Lynchburg is certainly going to be staying in business in the ODAC.
They'll kick it up top to Kuhn. Kuhn with a great shot, a laser deflected by Lawbird, but she's able to recover the rebound. Kuhn once again. Kuhn finds the back of the cage. Number 2 for goal number 2.
Tell you one thing, she has done it all game long, some of that isolation offense, and it just starts with confidence. Coaching staff talked about it coming into this season that Danny Kuhn has been special. She had the right off season, and look at this. Just keeping that chin down, working to the middle, and it just takes one powerful shot to lace it home.
Well, she's been described as a fighter and a workhorse of this midfield unit for the Lynchburg Hornets, and she showed you the hustle right there, staying with the play, Evan, and able to capitalize off a big-time rebound.
We talk about depth, and a lot of the times you want to look to your bench in that situation. Danny Kuhn was off the field maybe a minute and a half ago, so you come in and just being fresh and having energy can also play a big part for your starters as well. Kuhn last season, 22 appearances, 15 starts. And we have mentioned earlier in some of those press conferences, the preseason, that she missed that 2022 season with an ACL tear. Sometimes it's difficult even to get back on the field, let alone continue to progress your game. She is improving and moving in the right direction.
Kuhn here will try and reverse the field. Picked off by a Tiger. It's Volpe. Surrounded by a swarm of Hornets. Kanye comes up with it. Beautiful pass to the sideline. And the great ball movement from Lynchburg continues now as they work in transition. But a phenomenal tackle right there. The Hornets stay with it. It's Mickey fighting Schuchter. And a big swing right there from Mark. Gives it back to the Tigers.
Pass is a little too telegraphed in the middle of the field. We saw Mizizi has really been just searching to even get that opportunity today, and DePauw's defense has done a great job of marking, trying to eliminate her impact. Anytime that you're an All-American, you're going to have that title riding with you, and something that will be interesting to watch out this season for Kanye will be, can she play up to that narrative, knowing that she's going to get every team's best? The defenses are certainly aware of what she can do, but can she still find a way to keep moving on and opening the door for other teammates?
Lynchburg takes back over. Balsamo. Pardon me, that's Dorestein. Showing off the wheels towards the middle of the field, but poked away from DePauw.
Certainly a lot of size for Lynchburg. When you look at some of that midfield going into the attacking, it's going to be a big impact, especially some of the strong shooters on this squad. We mentioned Balsamo earlier. Last season, Lynchburg outscoring opponents 101-18. So they are certainly familiar with shutouts and just trying to limit their opposition. I think the goal scoring will be the question to answer this year.
That pass just a little too far outside for Anna Marks. Allie Freeman will now take over for Lynchburg. Balsamo will check out of this game. Schuchter taking her spot at the midfield unit.
Joe, this is going to be a really nice starting game for Lynchburg.
Here's an opportunity. Shy with her first save of the day, and it comes at a big time.
Tell you, that play just spiraled into action right away. A quiet start. The Tigers able to find their way in. They'll have another opportunity here. But Lynchburg will have an entire week off after this opening contest, and so there will be a lot to review, a lot to assess for this coaching staff, and certainly want to be ready.
3-on-2 for the Hornets. They've got the numbers. Lamb looks inside. A great deflection right there from Nowak. And DePauw takes possession once again.
Wondering with Lynchburg's offense in that case, do you want to try and thread that pass through first? Elected just to hold on, keep possession.
Another whistle in favor of the Tigers. That ball movement has continued to be a struggle today for DePauw. And that's not something new for this squad. And you can see it by the numbers looking from last year. Only 21 assists on the season compared to Lynchburg's 65. As there's a look to the interior for Pleiter. Knocked away. Hornets reclaim possession. It's Dorestein surrounded by 3 Tigers.
You know, assists are such a difficult statistical category to really get a hold of because you understand you got to score goals to have them. But how much can this offense share the wealth throughout this year? And they have done it a lot in the past.
Another great defensive stand right there from DePauw. Intercepted by Kuhn. Kuhn looks for short. Poked away once again. And a whistle gives it right back over to DePauw.
Physicality has not been a question mark for the Tigers, and they came into this one knowing exactly what they had to do, try to ruffle Lynchburg's feathers as much as possible in a game that they're going to want to run. You can't feel too bad about trying to slow down some of these plays, but as we've talked about, conversely, it's really difficult to get your offense started. And Tigers have just not been able to connect the dots.
Just about 90 seconds left to be played.
Assuming this one goes final with the Hornets in the lead, it will be the first career win for head coach Relaford. Obviously a new title this season, and it just feels like there's not too much nuance for the Hornets. Keeping many staff members, it feels like there's still a pretty good handprint of success within this bench, and you got to think the players are really happy to have Relaford leading the squad.
And it feels important to kick off with a victory. This is a Lynchburg program that hasn't lost a home opener in over a decade. That last one coming in 2013 by the hands of the Christopher Newport. Here's another chance on the inside, tipped away. Van Meter with the right idea, just couldn't get it to fall. Trickles out of play. And Lynchburg now looks to just close this one out and look forward to that next matchup at home here against Stockton. Those will be the first two games of this season, first two at home for the Hornets before a big-time road trip. They'll go on the road and face Mary Washington, Ursinus, Byron Moore, York, Susquehanna. I mean, you've got 5 road games coming after these 2 home openers. Once again, I mean, shortly after that, they'll have another very long homestand. Only 2 more away games after those first 5 to close out the season. And this should be a fun year for this squad, and you've got to tip your cap to DePauw coming in and really fighting today. That defense showed a lot of promise for what they're going to be able to do this season. Here's a tough shot. Oh, my goodness. An absolute missile off the stick of Aurora Balsamo. Make that goal number 2 for her on the day.
Balsamo beats the buzzer, and it looked so strong in doing so. What an impressive play, an exclamation mark. We talked about it throughout this game. You haven't necessarily seen it on the scoreboard. Well, now you do. And Lynchburg has a 3-piece, a good start to this 2024 campaign. And I'll tell you what, 13th in the nation. They certainly looked poised, powerful, and ready to go in this one.
The Hornets get a victory by a field goal, 3-0, our final score. A great way to kick off this 2024 campaign for the reigning ODAC champions.
So much to discover this season. Lynchburg and DePauw alike. You understand that these are 2 separate conferences and a pretty different schedules as well. But DePauw has to just take this one and try to keep those emotions in check, because guess what? Just around 24 hours, you got Shenandoah and Winchester. It's not an easy matchup. They were ranked first ahead of Lynchburg in that ODAC preseason poll. But again, got to commend the defense and know that they are still relentless coming out in the opener.
Evan, in your mind, what was the deciding factor in today's game?
I think when you look at Lynchburg's offense, we can talk about possession, and that's probably what meets the eye first. But you understand the depth and what this team has to offer. Some of the freshmen for the Hornets coming out in big ways. There's so many players that can make a difference this season, and they're setting the table for something special to come.
Setting the table indeed, capped off with an exclamation point at the end of it. And that will do it for us here at Schellenberger Field to kick off the 2024 season at home. A big thank you to everyone in our production room here today. We've got a great staff operating a handful of cameras, directing, producing, running replay. It's been a couple of superstars. We're happy to have them. That's all for me and Evan. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time here on LHSN.